Hi everyone and welcome to this free tutorial. So this month for my patrons it's figurative month and I've been asked by so many of my patrons, can we do more figurative? So that's exactly what we're going to do. So for me, the key to painting a nice loose figurative is the art of simplification, and that's what I want to show you guys. We're going to paint a nice loose interpretation. We're going to paint it monochromatically. We're not looking for a portrait. We're not looking to paint fingers and toes and lots of details. Just a nice loose way of painting a figurative. Now, if you're enjoying these tutorials, then please do subscribe. That would be great. Thank you very much indeed. And if you'd like to take your art further, then you know what I'm going to say, don't you? Get onto my Patreon channel. There's over 100 tutorials on there to choose from. It really is worth a visit. You can stay for 1 month, there is no contract, or you can stay for much longer, and most of my patrons actually do. Anyway, there we go. So are you ready to paint with me? Go grab your brushes and let's make a start. As usual, I'll always go through the materials I'm going to be using for this tutorial. I've got a piece of, it's Saunders Waterford, and it was on a block. It's a difficult one, this, because it kind of fell to pieces. It's the back of another painting. But they come in a block where you just get a little knife and you just peel the edge off. So yeah, but I mean, I could be using a piece of Barkingford, Saunders Waterford. This technique, this monochromatic, works well on any kind of paper, really. So don't be too precious about, you know, using a Barkingford or a Langford or a cheaper paper, because tonal value tends to sit well, I think, on most papers, especially using the techniques that I'm going to show you today. I've got a big jug of clean water, always got my spray bottle handy here, just a small size 8 brush, piece of candle wax or a piece of crayon, and any dark colour. You could use Lunar Black, Payne's Grey Blue, Ultramarine. I went for the Phthalo Blue. Lovely dark colour. Always choose a dark colour because if you choose a lighter colour like yellows and oranges, it's very difficult to get that depth of tone. So always go for a nice dark colour. I'm going to put a bit of light in mine as well, a little bit of highlights, a little bit of wax resist, so definitely on the corner of this shoulder here. I'm going to have the light coming this way, so just a few nice strokes into the hair as well, maybe down that arm. The problem with this technique is, and I've said it before, that you can't really see it until it's down, so don't press too hard. I'm also going to put a few squiggles and wiggles in. I've done this before, haven't I? Or have I? No, that's on the next tutorial. Yeah, where I use this technique. And I'm just putting little squiggles into the paper and into the body as well. You know, it's kind of nice to have a few of those little squiggles here. Again, I'm not pressing too hard. I'm very light touch with that one. Let's put some paint down. Let's get a bit of the... oh, that was rather a lot, wasn't it? Very generous there with the paint. Right, let's start to put a bit of value in. So I'm going to make a light value first, and you can see why I said oh gosh, because the phthalo does create a lot of paint. I shall be scraping that up later into a palette. So lots of water. So I'm looking for a nice light tone. That's probably about right. I've put my highlights on this right hand side, so that means I can kind of come in and just block things in. Look, I'm going out of the lines as well. I don't really mind that so much. Put a few squiggles in there as well, couldn't we? Just connect it. All I'm doing here is trying to keep this side as a light, but you know, if I don't manage it, it's not the end of the world. A line, water, pushing that paint about as well. Being very carefree with it. Look where I'm holding my brush, by the way, halfway, if not toward the bottom of the brush. If you're painting like this, you're very nervous. Painting like this, you're going to get these loose, expressive strokes. And I could do a whole tutorial just on the way that you use your brush. I don't think it's discussed enough, really. There we go. So the first wash is in. Now, if there are areas where you want to kind of go, okay, I've not kept the light as much, then grab a thirsty brush, squeeze the water out, lift a bit of value away, or even come in with a bit of tissue and just lift some little sections away that you don't particularly like. Now, this is still wet. Mine is still wet. If you want to wait for yours to dry, then yeah, please do that. I like to paint in a loose way, and I'm guaranteed happy accidents and horrible accidents at the same time because it is wet. But if you don't take that risk, you're never going to be able to loosen up. You could let it dry a little bit more so it's nearly dry, but you don't want to watch paint dry, do you? So let's just carry on. I'm making a slightly darker tone now. And again, I'm thinking about the light on this right-hand side. So all I'm doing here now is pushing some of those darks into the body, like that. Clean my brush, add some water, scoosh it around a bit. There you go. Let it run down. Maybe a little bit more dark here as well would be nice. And I think I'm going to destroy it a little bit more now. I'm going to take a wet brush and I'm going to just pull it through like that. Pulling it through. So again, if that doesn't loosen you up, then nothing will. Right, I'm going to let this one dry. Just one more little value, I think. I'd like a bit of a dark there in the face as well. I don't want it all to be too white. Right, brush down. I like to spray into mine, as you know. Sorry, I did say brush down, didn't I? And I'm going to do that now. Just give it a little bit of a spritz. And you can see it just breaks the paint up even more. I can even shake my paper in different directions. Just off camera there, look. And that's going to give me some exciting lines as well. I can add more water and just pull some more shapes out. But there comes a time when I need to stop. You can lift out again at this point if you feel you need to, but I think I've got the relevant lights here that I need to bring shape and form to this figure. So we'll let it dry and continue to build up the value. So this lovely lady is nice and dry now, and I can start to build up more value. So we're keeping the light coming from this direction, aren't we, this top right hand side. So we can definitely go darker on this side of the body. And it's just a matter of choosing which areas you want to be dark. So I think I'd like her hair to be a bit darker, coming across like that. But then I'll clean my brush. I'll just pull that wash out. So I'm going from light to dark. I can connect a shape as well. Look, I can connect that shape and draw a line. So I'm connecting that value with a lovely linear mark. And I'll bring this value down a bit as well. And I'd love to show off the light of that neck here. So I'm definitely going to make the face just a little bit darker. Again, cleaning my brush. Just adding water and just softening that away. And already she's beginning to take a bit of shape, isn't she? I'm just going to lose that section as well. Keep softening lines down. And again, I'd like to connect the value that I've put here and connect it to this arm shape here. I'm always looking for shapes in between. So here's a nice shape. And then we have the shape of the body. I can come down, look, bring that lovely linear mark down just like that. And I can still continue to work on this. Let's make the arm here. Maybe a bit of the hand as well. Slightly darker. A bit of kitchen roll here. Just take the excess off my brush and just push that linear mark out. So it's not a line anymore. We're creating a value. There we go. Let's put a darker value into this spinal column here, look. And I can also pull some across as well, you know. So I can use a linear mark to suggest a crevice, but then I can just sweep across some more colour, or value should I say, softening it off from time to time. Let's create a shape here. Let's come in with a bold dark on this side. Taking it across. Thinking about a linear marks, that's the side of that leg. So I'm going to make that a little bit darker as well. Cleaning my brush. Softening, using the heel of the brush, this part of the brush here, that's the bit I like to use to soften off a linear mark, because if you're just using the point of the brush, it's going to take you forever. Nice little dark in there, look. And of course I'm going to come into this arm here as well. It's kind of coming across and meeting the body at that point. Add a bit of water, softening away. Don't mind breaking the lines as well. Look, I can continue to do that from time to time. But you can see now she's just starting to take a bit of shape and form, isn't she? You can wait for it to dry, but I do like to add darker values while it's still wet. I like to make that a little bit darker as well. Occasionally I'll just soften those marks off. Let's bring that dark down there as well. So one leg is kind of sitting behind the other. Maybe a few linear marks here to suggest the eye. There's the nose, look. It's just a simple mark I'm making. I'm not putting eyelashes in, eyeballs, anything like that. It's just a simple linear mark. I would like to put more linear marks into this, and I would also like to show you how you can use a bit of negative painting as well to bring this alive. So I'm going to let this dry for now. I'm just going to lift a little bit away here. I'd like to have more of a light just on that leg there, look. So I'm just going to lift a little bit away. There we go. Again, it's that time. You can put the hairdryer on this and let it dry. I'm going to let it dry naturally and then come back to it and put the final touches onto this lovely figure. This one's had a chance to dry now, and I come back. I do this a lot. I come back at this stage, and you know, the stage where I think, oh, I've got a lot more to do, and then I come back to it and I think, do I? So if this were a preliminary study for a painting, a future painting of mine, I'd be looking at putting a few more values within the body as well. But as it's not really a pre-painting for me, it's a lesson. So I also want to show you how you can really make value jump by being brave and putting in a counter change. And a counter change is a light against a dark. So any area that you want to really show off, that's where you're going to bang your dark as well. What I will do to start with is I'm going to put a few darker values within the body. So this is something I'd be doing if this were a little plan, so to speak, for a finished painting. So I'd like some darks. There, look, clean my brush and just soften that away a bit. Just finding little sections that I think need or could definitely do with just reinforcing. We've got this leg here that's in front of the other one. This leg here comes behind, doesn't it? So I think I can really come in with a much darker value into these little areas here. Clean my brush. Just give it a bit of a soften. Remember, we're keeping things vague as well. But that helps, doesn't it? One dark value against a light value, and we can still come in at this point and even put a darker value down to that section as well. Completely up to you. Right, let's think about some nice lights. And the only way we're going to create lights is to put darks next to them. Now here, I think I've come out a little bit too far here, so I want to clip that in and I want to show off the light as well. So here on this section, that's how dark I'm going to be. I'm going to really bang that dark in. Oh, there's a kind of section that could be a finger, so I'll leave that. I'm going to bring that shape down like that. Maybe as well, just put a nice dark here. I can turn my paper whichever way I like, so I can just add a bit of water to these sections as well and just allow them to just melt away. I can give it a shake. I'll have to do that just off camera. And that makes such a massive difference, doesn't it? It really carves into the figure. I like little tiny areas as well. So this little area here is just asking me to block it in. I'll just reinforce that dark as well. And maybe a little bit at the top here of the head. So I've got the hair kind of coming out like that. I'll come down onto the brow. I don't like to do it all over this, by the way. Have you noticed that? I don't want to fill the whole section in. So I'll leave little areas that are a little bit vague, or I'll leave gaps like this. So some of it is in dark and some of it's a lighter value. You'll see more when I turn my picture around. Just a blob there, look. I'm going to spray into this as well. I'm going to give it another shake. And now that is just, it just transforms it, doesn't it? It just makes such a difference. And if I wanted to go back into the figure now, I can judge the darkest value. The darkest value is obviously here. So if I take that dark value again, I can put in some little marks like that. I can put in some more marks like that, even though that is still wet. I can reinforce a dark as well. So I can come in, say, on the side of the body here and add another little bit of dark, maybe a little bit of dark here as well, you know. Why not? Cleaning my brush. I know it's time to stop now because I am fiddling and looking for areas, and I'll start painting feet and hands soon, and that's something that I really, really don't want to do. So, she says, one more little dark that I'd just like to show off, and that is just that section there, look, where the neck meets the hair, look, something like that. Soften that down. And please tell me now to put my brush down. And there we go. It is hard to resist, isn't it? You know, you just want to keep painting and painting and painting. But yeah, just stand back a while and, you know, come back to it at a later date when you think it needs more work, and then you'll come back to it and realise it really doesn't. I'm going to give this one a spritz. So I'm confident now that I like the composition. I like how the darks are coming on this side. Should I add more here? Maybe not. If it was a working painting for me, where I was working out how I was going to produce a final painting, then these are the questions I'd be asking myself. But at the moment, I kind of like that composition. Let's put our fingers in there while we're talking. I like the composition. I think I probably put a few defined marks here just along this leg shape, but it's very, very wet at the moment, so I wouldn't be able to do that. But most of all, I enjoy painting them as well. I really do. And I'm hoping that the techniques I've just shared with you are really going to help you to loosen up and paint some lovely figures of your own. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.